Good morning. It is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate y'all being here. Can I get a roll tide inside the comment box? I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for joining our Thursday show, February 12th. Man, you know what? February is it's the fastest moving month. There's not a lot going on in February. I get it, right? Like, that's just how February has always been or whatever. But the good news is February doesn't last that long. Before you know it, you sneeze, you get a little sick, right? And you just all of a sudden, boom, bam, bing, you're in March, all right? March, I feel like January is an entire year, right? Think about all the things that happen in January. It's insane. Like, am I right? Like, if you're an adult, you know that January is just long. It's a year in itself. February is like 2 weeks. You're done with it, right? March has some meat on the bone, and you got spring break, so it's good. April is a feel-good month, right? May, come on, right? If you can battle some allergies and deal with some rain, you're good. And then you get in the summertime, and you're coasting, right? And then you can make it through June because you're doing your thing, you're feeling good. And then July, that's when the football season starts because our clock then resets to SEC Media Days, and then all is well, and we feel whole again, and we have football again, and we're complete, right? That's kind of the calendar. But man, January is you gotta battle in January, and in February you get through. That's just how life operates. So good morning, and thank you. We do have, I want to give a special shout out to our live show sponsors. Thank you. I show this graphic as much as I can during the live shows. These are people who support the channel on a monthly basis by being a live show sponsor. If you want to be a sponsor, a fan funder of the program in any capacity from the lowest level to the top level, think about it. Hit the join button, and I sincerely appreciate your guys' consideration. Do that. Easy to sign up. If you're on your phone, just hit the join button. Or if you're on, like I said, I have no idea if anybody is still using like computers anymore, but you could hit the join button. And if you're watching on your TV, I don't know, next time you're on your phone, hit the join button, right? Because I have been seeing people are watching the show and watching more YouTube from their TVs, which I think is dope. Like, I can't even, cause I'm not gonna lie, but like the graphics and how we have it set up, when you put on YouTube on your TV and you have the show, it looks popping for sure. So definitely check it out, and I appreciate you guys once again. We start by highlighting the Alabama basketball team. All right, I don't know. We had some crew on last night, a little meat on the bone for Alabama versus Ole Miss, and boy, the beginning, it was crazy. I have never watched a basketball game for Alabama when they have shot that miserable ever, like in my entire life. I don't know if I've seen a team in all the basketball that I've watched shoot as bad as Alabama. And you know what? Thank goodness Ole Miss couldn't shoot that much better. It was crazy. They were missing everything. I think at one point, and I'm not exaggerating, I think they were 3 of 22 from three-point land. Like, it was crazy. And they were still within like 3 points, right? They never really trailed that much. And of course, it was the first game with Bediako out. But that had nothing to do with it. They just could not make a shot. They couldn't buy a bucket. And so we go into the halftime break, and Alabama was actually leading. It was like 34-32, right? Weird game. It was frustrating. If you're watching that game, you were just like, what the hell is going on? But I knew it wouldn't stand like that. And I knew that I would imagine they came out and they were going to shoot like, I don't know, 38%, 40% is crazy. But in the second half, they came out and it was insane what they did. They shot 53% in the second half from the field, right? From three-point land, there were 12 of 22. You're like, what? It was a completely different squad. And Rysel, he went bananas. He's 7 of 13. He had 6 3-pointers in the second half alone. He had 18 points, right? And they play South Carolina on Saturday evening. So they win this game, and they weren't going to lose to Ole Miss. They weren't. And I think, they'll be the favorite on Saturday against South Carolina as well. And I think my takeaways when looking at this team, a couple things. Number one, I'm glad that the whole Bediako thing is like kind of fizzling out. Ole Miss's basketball coach actually wrote a note to Bediako and was like, hey, as a person to person, I feel for you, what you're going through. And Nato said that was a very classy move, which obviously it is, right? But I think as we turn the page past Bediako, will they be better for it? I mean, they'll be better for it in terms of it not being a distraction, because I think it got so much in the news media that that's all people could hyper focus on. Like, it was the biggest story in college basketball in a negative way. And as Todd is saying inside the comment box, Bruce Pearl on the platform that he has was going nuclear on Bama. And he has beef with Bama. He has beef with Nate Oates, right? And he was and that's a large volume. That's a large platform. And that goes into everybody else's ears, and then they see Alabama as a villain, right? Alabama in a negative light. So when Bediako was ruled ineligible, and I think for the most part, it never felt right. It never felt like this was going to work out, right? But now it's done, and you move past it. And for those that don't follow the basketball team as close, this team was going to be better, I think, with Bediako, but not by a significant margin. And I know he only played 5 games, but the takeaways were this. Look, they were 3-2 with him. He provided an edge rebounding and from a defensive standpoint. But in terms of, the offensive effort, this particular team is going to be as good as they can shoot. And that's perimeter shots. They don't have strong inside play. That's not part of their game. They don't take, a lot of jumpers. They don't take a lot of runners. They like to move the ball around, and they like to shoot. And they want to shoot 43s a game, maybe 50. And if this team, if they're hot and they can shoot 38%, they're going to score points, and they're going to be tough to deal with. Now, in the second half against Ole Miss, they shot 50%, 53 or whatever it was, which is probably not going to happen again. And they can't be that inconsistent because you can be hot in the first half and then cool down in the second half. I don't think that this team is as consistent enough on the outside to really go where they want to go. And I think that will ultimately be their downfall, is that they'll be cold one game and they'll be beaten. So it's a good team, and it's very entertaining to watch. And I love Philon, and I love Wrightsell, and I love Holloway. I think their guards are fantastic. Sherrell, he's definitely good for sure. Bo Bolin, he's kind of in a little slump right now. Mellette, I love his motor. I love his game, what he brings. Jemison's really good. Amari Allen, really good. But do they have what it takes to really make a deep run? And if I'm being really honest with you, and maybe they can utilize this for, internal motivation, whatever, I don't think so. And I think they're just missing a couple different components to being, a team that can really push through some of those top 10 teams. So, look, we ride or die with them. We're going to watch them. We're going to celebrate them, and we'll see what happens. But they're going to be, as we get into that Sweet 16, Elite 8, whatever, they're going to be the underdogs, and that's okay. So, and like Rocketown loves Philon. Philon, some of the moves that he has, I wish he would take it more inside. I really do, because some of the moves around the basket are just outstanding. I mean, he's got it. But you rarely, how often do we even see Philon just come out and just take a little jumper? Right? It's few. So good win last night. And again, Alabama rolls up in the second half and end up winning by double digits. And they will play Saturday night against South Carolina, a game they should be the favorite in once again. All right. So again, thank you so much for joining the program today on Thursday, February 12th. Let's see who's in the crib this morning. I appreciate you guys always rolling through. We got Max Tooney. Let's get this lined up. Good morning to you, brother. We got Young C. Thank you very much for being here. We have Broderick. We have Bruce Williams. We also have Miss Amanda Jane. Thank you so much for joining us. We have Mike down in Choctaw. You know, this is interesting. Mike is one of the few users that's really, transitioned. Really, his nickname, the place where he lived. He used to be Mike in Austin, and I like this way better. Now he's Turn Up Mike in Choctaw. It's hard to elevate in anything. This guy elevated, his name, his location. That's tough to do in life. Miss Kimberly, what's up? Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. I think we said what's up to you, Miss Amanda Jane, as well. Danny the Great, what's up, bro? Good morning. Miss Crystal Jones, South Carolina, I believe. Miss Kimberly, here in the great state of Alabama. Bruce Williams in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Anna out in the ATL. What's up, Miss Anna? Good to see you. Will High Note, what's up, man? Thanks for rolling on through this morning. Bot Ricks, what's up, bro? Thank you very much for being here. I keep on saying this. I don't even know why that's here. I think it's hilarious that it's became like kind of part of the family. Whatever. Yo, come as you are, man. Justin T, what's up? Good morning, bro. You doing okay? Andy, good morning, dog. What's up? And Robert Bradley, we got K-Spray, we got Nicholas Harden. Thank you so much. We got Josh Smith. Josh Smith, is that Smitty? He's like in the Richard Owens hire. Yeah, we'll talk about that, of course, coming up next. We got Jay, who is actually driving through Pensacola. He don't like driving through Florida at all, right? Who else we got up in here? Man, we got a good crew this morning. We got Tyrod. Yo, Tyrod, what's up, man? How you doing? Where are you checking in from, man? Let us know. I know where Bulldog, Mississippi is checking from. Yo, Stark Vegas, right? Are you in Stark Vegas, Bulldog, Mississippi? I went there one time. Yeah, I went there. Todd Tipton, always animated. Todd is going to let you know how he feels, period. And that's how Todd is. Hacker Music, what's up, man? Good to see you. Derek Spencer. Most of their points came from three. 100%. Yeah, regarding the basketball team. Yeah, pretty much all of them, right? Cody's up in the house. Cody 5150, man. Never changed, Cody. We got Derek Spencer. What's up, man? We got J. Cole. J. Cole's been serving as a spiritual leader. We have, different spiritual leaders from time to time. And it's good because the way that I look at our spiritual leaders, I don't think that we're at the point where we have like as many like tight ends. Like Alabama has more tight ends than we have spiritual leaders, but we have enough, right? We have depth. Our spiritual leaders, we got like J. Cole, Ethan. We have enough, right? We have a depth chart, but we like to we want to be strong in that area because J. Cole might need a blow, right? Somebody pick up the 6, right? Rocket Town, what's up, man? Good to see you. Oh, Tyrod's up in the Magic City, dude. What's up, bro? Man, you're in food heaven, bro. Man, yo, the food seriously, fam? What happened? How did the food get so good in Birmingham? And I think from the people I talked to, it kind of just happened within the last 5 to 7 years, because look, Southern food is good. But from even a national standpoint, something happened in Birmingham. I don't know what it was, and the food just went whoosh, and now it's like a food heaven. All right, we got Jay Money checking in from Jacksonville, Alabama. That's what's up, dog. Good to see you. See, Big RJ, man, from 205. He's also in Birmingham. See, you guys up in Birmingham, you guys eating like kings and queens up there. Anything, they have everything. I don't know why it's like that, but I'm interested. And look, Tuscaloosa has good spots, but not like Birmingham. Come on. I mean, it's just it's different. Okay, so we have a new tight ends coach, right? And Richard Owens was, it hasn't been like officially announced by the University of Alabama. I'm sure they're still kind of, figuring out the paperwork. But new tight ends coach Richard Owens is in. Let's discuss it. And I'm going to ask you, as on our opening, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your excitement about getting Richard Owens? And we briefly discussed it last night after the watch along, but I want to talk to you about this today because the more that I chew on it, and I'm still doing my research, I'll admit it, and that's something that I have on my schedule today is to kind of do some more deep dive. But at a glance and kind of where we're at, I like this hire. And you'll be like, oh, of course you do. You're happy about it all. Well, let me tell you why. Let me explain to you why. And, you go down kind of the checklist, and the first thing that really stands out to me, and maybe if you caught this on Wake Up Bama, as I kind of go through, the points of emphasis, you see where he's been. And I love the regional ties. That makes me excited anytime you get somebody that's from the fabric of the Southeast. Now, I get it. He hasn't coached at, a big Southeast program. But I think in terms of what he brings from where he's at, now he's ready. Right? He was just at Louisville as an offensive line coach. So we love that. And I said this, there was somebody out there that knew this. I don't know who it was, but there was somebody like in the know. I don't know if it was like another YouTuber or like if it was like, I don't, if it was like Pate or if it was like someone from 24/7 or On3 or who, I don't know who it was, but someone out there said Alabama's going to hire, remember this? When they're like, Alabama's going to hire like 2 offensive line coaches. I didn't come up with that. I didn't hear that. Somebody did though. And I wish I knew who. I don't know who it was. But they were right on the money because this is basically an additional offensive line coach with a tight end experience that will be the tight ends coach. So it's like almost they doubled up, right? So you have, the kind of the stomping grounds. He was at Louisville. He was at Georgia Southern, right? That's when he was with Brian Ellis. So that's the camaraderie. And then he was at UAB. Well, shoot, you know where that's at. Patriotic, what's up, man? And then he was also at South Alabama when South Alabama had Womack. You know what I'm saying? Nicholas Harden says it's Pate. So there you go. I mean, when you got it, you got it. And even though it's not like another offensive line coach per se, it pretty much is. I mean, he's got strong trench game background. 1,000,000%. Lee Edwards, what's up? Good to see you. Lead Wards, rather. 83-23. So I think even from a run game standpoint, he's got that mentality. And I think he kind of serves as an extra offensive line coach, right? And I think it's a good commitment to the run game from DeBoer. So I think that what DeBoer has done in the offseason is he hasn't like publicly came out and like said, hey, anything like major about the running game, but he's been proactive. Would you agree that he's been proactive in taking steps towards a run game? He fired the offensive line coach. He felt that was the biggest issue. Okay. He went out and got an offensive line coach, and I'll talk about kind of the additions that they made. Right? Hey, Tate Kings, what's up, man? Give you a shout out for being here, bro. Yo, thanks for being here. Appreciate you, bro. You get shout outs when you come out here, man. Jackson Rocco, what's up? And that's a commitment to the running game. A commitment to the running game is letting go of somebody that didn't fit the system, right? A commitment to the running game is going after Adrian Clem, who's been known to have kind of that, being a tougher coach with the offensive lineman, because they said that physicality is going to be paramount for the offense. Went out and did that. Okay. And I think what you did here was you got a tight ends coach that has offensive line experience. And, that helps for the offensive line, but it also helps in terms of your 12 personnel sets. Right? So I think overall, that's a commitment to the run game from Coach Kalen DeBoer. And I love to see it. And I think when I step back and I look at the new coaches in 2026, I get even more excited, right? As I have these 3 coaches up on the screen, what would be your excitement level on a scale of 1 to 10 about the coaches we have here? Richard Owens, Adrian Clem, Derek Nix. And on this particular graphic, I'm going to work right to left. We're going to go the dyslexia format, okay? And I'm going to give you my assessment on what each of these coaches adds in terms of value to the staff. So from Derek Nix, I love this hire. The wide receiver coaches that we've had here, I like them. I like Jamarcus Shepard. I did. Holman Wiggins, never really got to know too much about him. We had some guys for sure. But I think Jamarcus Shepard, what we liked about him is he had that juice factor. He coached motivated. He seemed like it would be incredible to play for somebody like that because he's got that juice. The only kind of knock on Jamarcus Shepard is he wasn't really from here. And what I mean from here is wasn't from the Southeast. And I don't think that prohibited him from being a good recruiter, but he's just not cut from here. Plus, I think within his particular career, he was on a trajectory to be a head football coach or a big-time OC, and for him, it worked out that Oregon State, needed a head coach, and he left. So what was Alabama going to do from that mindset? And I think from Coach Kalen DeBoer's mindset, what he did was he was like, you know what? After being here for 2 seasons, we need somebody with ties here. We need somebody, from an offensive standpoint that has ties here, that has connections to the coaches here, that's been here in the SEC, that's coached in the SEC, right? That's played in this area. And when you look to what he did at Ole Miss, he was there for a long time. We love commitment to the program, right? And then you look at what he was able to do at Auburn in a short time frame. Auburn moved the football against Alabama 1,000,000%. Their wide receivers were really good. I don't know. I guess Auburn and Alabama both couldn't catch the football last year. I don't know why. But I love the addition of Derek Nix, and I think on the back end of what Derek Nix did was he's brought in some wide receivers that are developmental pieces. And that's what he needed to do. Alabama didn't need star-studded receivers. They didn't. They already got star-studded receivers. They needed complementary wide receivers that are going to be in development that will be ready to go next year or the year after. So he had contacts to find a guy that wasn't committed yet that runs a 4.3, right? Love to see it. So I think Derek Nix, I would say this was a tremendous hire. And I think it's going to go really well. Now, how does he kind of integrate with the wide receivers that are already here? We're not going to know that for a while. But I think from what we've seen early on and just even a month standpoint, I think it's been good. Do you agree? All right, let's talk about Adrian Clem. Look, this is the guy that has the most pressure outside of Ryan Grubb. And a younger guy who's played in the league, who has 3 Super Bowl rings. He has NFL coaching experience. He has college coaching experience, right? Patriots, Steelers, Oregon, right? Most recently, he was at USC as an analyst, kind of waiting for a program like this to open up from probably a perfect timing for alignment, right? A lot of life is about alignment, right? And Adrian Clem has the hardest job, and that's building Alabama's new offensive line from scratch and doing it at a very high level immediately. He's got Michael Carroll to work with and Michael Carroll to develop. Michael Carroll is the cornerstone of Alabama's offensive line. Michael Carroll is going to be a first-round pick in the NFL draft. Like, I don't know where, 1 through whatever, but he's that good. You have some veterans coming in with some good experience, but they didn't play SEC football. And I think it's interesting to think about. Like, you got like Jackson Lloyd, right? A guy who redshirted last year. Is he better than a starter at Mississippi State who's got a lot of snaps? I don't know. I mean, I don't think we can just write off somebody just because they started somewhere else. Like, Jackson Lloyd, nobody was going to start over Caden Proctor. So Adrian Clem's job is to basically start from scratch and look at the offensive linemen, the guys we got here, and almost eliminate the experience that they have and just start from scratch and see who has that dog mentality and who can be the most physical. Because I'll ask you this inside the comment box. If you know anything about Michael Carroll, would you say that he's physical? Would you say that he's got a dog mentality? Have you seen clips of him out there, even at the high school level, playing to the absolute whistle? Does Michael Carroll have physicality? If you could get 4 additional Michael Carrolls, you're going to win maybe all of your games. That's how dominating a player like Michael Carroll is. Michael Carroll was absolutely pissed off, to be honest, that he wasn't starting earlier on the season. He was enraged because he knows how good he is. Remember at the beginning of the season? He wasn't playing and he was pissed off. I know. I heard that from a source. Okay? And see, Nicholas Harden is talking about Jackson Lloyd. I would not sleep on Jackson Lloyd either. From a mentality standpoint, that guy's got like the Navy SEAL mindset. Jackson Lloyd, he might kind of look like a younger kind of baby face. No. That dude's mentality, he's a psycho. You know what I'm saying? Just wait. Like he's about to bust out. I have him on my just explosion watch list. And I know yesterday when we were talking about sleepers, nobody mentioned him. But I need to tell you that Jackson Lloyd is a name. He's going to be, it's going to be very difficult for him to stay off the field. And Adrian Clem's got to assess all that. He's got to be like, look, all right, we got Javen James. He has starting experience, but does he have the dog mentality over a guy like Jackson Lloyd? I don't know. It's his job, right? Yeah. So, I mean, those guys, right? Who's going to be the guards? I have no idea. But Adrian Clem's got a lot to take care of. Richard Owens just added, right? And as I kind of demonstrated, we went down his checklist. Strong ties to this area. He played in the league as a tight end. And he's got, the tight end room to work with. And we joke around that the tight end has a lot of different components to work with because you have, 9, 10 guys? I think when you look to the tight end coach last year, I mean, does the tight end coach really even get that much notoriety? Not necessarily, but from a tight end room, we know that we have younger guys that are capable in their second year to be playmakers. Caleb Edwards and Marshall Pritchett, right? We know we have a transfer that's coming in that we're really excited about in Josh Ford. We know we have, I guess, Danny Lewis kind of pending on his, surgery, how he comes out. He doesn't. Unfortunately, the guy was banged up all last year. Maybe Danny Lewis can get there. I don't know. I feel like I've been waiting for forever for Danny Lewis. Sometimes it just takes 1 year. Sometimes it doesn't work out. I don't know. And then you got Max Sutter who comes in, and he's a guy who just looks special. He kind of has that, wow, let's get him on the field. So Richard Owens joins, Adrian Clem joins, Derek Nix joins. And I think still overall, you have a lot of camaraderie and continuity within the coaching staff. So as I kind of close out this section right here, how do you feel about the new additions? I mean, lump them all together and give me your kind of 1 to 10. 10 being like, yo, absolutely all about it, super excited. You feel like, 7, 8 need to kind of, it sounds good for sure, right? Maybe 5, you're like, yo, it's just kind of a mid. It's always a gas up, which, I mean, we're not going to know until we start playing. But, I mean, at least from listening, kind of putting pieces together, it looks exciting. Cody has it at 10. Nicholas, 9.5. Amanda Jane says 9. Right? Jaquan, what's up, man? Good to see you. Anna says 8. Yeah, people pumped up. Good. Good to see it. All right, so those are your new coaches in, and we'll continue to, highlight Richard Owens and the other additional coaches as we move forward. So, thank you so much as you guys are here today on Bama Football on YouTube. I wanted to ask you a question as we kind of segue into my next topic, which is about the quarterbacks, okay? And this isn't necessarily like a quarterback battle angle. This is more about, will the quarterback or quarterbacks that played this season for Alabama, do you think that we take a step forward in terms of talent with Keelan Russell or Austin Mack from the past 2 quarterbacks? What I'm asking you straightforward in a much easier way, will Alabama have a better quarterback this season than they have compared to the last 2 seasons? And I think everything ahead is always better, right? You're like, yeah, of course. The guys are going to be better for sure. You got, Austin Mack, who's super experienced. This is his 4th year. You got Keelan Russell, the shining 5-star, who people can't wait. And I guess we could say the same thing last year. We didn't know how good Ty Simpson was going to be because he had limited playing experience. Now, I will say this. Ty Simpson coming into last year had more experience than these guys did. But maybe it just comes down to, like Jackson is talking about inside the comment box, is like these quarterbacks are going to have a better offensive line, or at least we're thinking that. Maybe that's the better question too. Maybe that's where it just sits. Like, okay, here's another question that's kind of tied into the quarterbacks. Will Alabama have a better offensive line? And we can't answer that. So that's what makes, I guess, this question even more challenging. Because you're like, okay, yeah, the offensive line, of course, is going to be better. Well, who the hell is going to be starting? Nobody knows. But that's why I ask you this question is like, are we going to have a better quarterback than we did last year? Capstone Farms inside the comment box says, look, I spoke to a booster. And he says sources tell him that it's going to be, Russell's going to be the guy. It's an interesting point to think about because I think we automatically think we're just going to have a better quarterback like from the jump. And we might. But Ty put together a pretty good season. And then you're like, well, was Ty better than Jalen? I don't know. War start when you ask that. And the other thing that I continue to point out is this will be the first time since DeBoer got here, which is, man, it feels like forever ago, that this is like his quarterback, right? His guy. And I said this too yesterday on the Facebook channel. I was like, you know what? It's really uncomfortable and kind of sad that we can't celebrate having a quarterback like Austin Mack. It almost feels like we have to walk on eggshells. Like if we talk about just Austin Mack by himself and like just put him on a graphic by himself, people get pissed off and they're just like, man, no, it's going to be, why? Why can't we celebrate Austin Mack for like what he is? We got a great quarterback room. By the way, none of these quarterbacks are listed on any of like the preseason top 10 top quarterbacks. Right? Am I right? Does it feel like if you talk about Austin Mack, you're like, oh man, I can't like see, because I think people are designed for just one person, right? You just can only have one person. You can't have two. Can't serve two masters. Are you kidding me? Jackson says Austin Mack is more NFL ready body, right, than anybody on the team. I don't know. That's kind of like our question today. I guess let's do it in a poll question. Let's just see to find out. I'm gonna assume that everybody says yes, we'll have a better quarterback, but I don't know. Let's see. No, nobody's gonna vote worse, so maybe that's not even a better question, right? And I'm not gonna say who's gonna start. We've done that already. We already know who's gonna start in our minds. We already know that Keelan Russell is gonna start, right? Like that's in our mind, but we don't really know. Right? See, Dano's just like, yo, he's just different, dog. Yo, that's why he's a starter. He's just different. Thomas, what's up, man? Thomas says, each offensive line position is critical. Remember, Milroe looked bad only because McLaughlin couldn't consistently hike the damn ball. Dude, 100%. And Thomas, what was really upsetting about that was what happened the next year with McLaughlin, right? Dude leaves one season and becomes the best center in college football? What? He couldn't even snap the ball here, bro. Man. What? All right. Okay. I'm going to take your guys' calls in just a minute. But I have to tell you about sponsor of today's show, which is Sleeper. Okay. So download the Sleeper app. Okay. Get $20 by just downloading the app. Use the promo code, which is tailgate. It's circled over here on the right. Terms and conditions apply. Available in 25 states. Okay. No deposit is needed, but you got to use the promo code, which is tailgate. So go to your app and download Sleeper. I'd really appreciate it. Okay. And Sleeper has added a new feature, which is pretty cool, which is team picks. So this is just an example right here of the Masters tournament. So when you see on the Sleepers interface, and it works for basketball, it works for golf. I'm a big golf guy, so like I just pulled this up and I'm like, okay, Masters tournament. So along with teams, you can also do like golf, and you can do like NBA, you can do college, and here are just some options on the board. I don't know what looks good to you. Scotty Scheffler, Rory, DeChambeau. So you pull it up, you check it out. And again, the promo code to get active with our sponsor is tailgate when you download the Sleeper app. There's also promo code links within our videos, so definitely check them out. And I really appreciate you supporting Sleeper, our sponsor. All right. Lastly, we have a new raffle. All right. And man, God, that music's so good for the raffle. We will be raffling this beautiful white rope hat that says Bama Football YouTube. And you can tell everybody why you're the smartest Alabama football fan in the room, right? Because you listen to Wake Up Bama and you call into the show. You can even tell them that you have your own call-in show. And all it takes to get is $5 to enter, up to 3 opportunities. By the way, Brandon Lewis, if you're out there, I got you this morning. You could Venmo Bama_YouTube. You could Cash App Bama YouTube. And we will spin the pinwheel at 10:45 on Friday morning. Man, I think I even froze up. That was crazy. Yo, I think I froze up right when it like it. Did you see that? Dang, that was cool. How did I freeze up like that? Oh. Dang it, we have one more thing to do. Maybe we should do this tomorrow because I want to take calls. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do this tomorrow. Remember how we did yesterday? We had the sleeper players, right? What we'll do today is we're going to take calls now, but then tomorrow we'll do returning players, because yesterday we did sleeper players, right? Like guys who we're sleeping on, and we came with offense and defense. We'll do that tomorrow, but with returning players. That will be like our thing tomorrow that we do. So that'll be our show tomorrow, and then we'll do I don't know, something like Valentine's Day related, right? Like we'll use players. Be thinking about this, all right? What names could we use that are like Valentine's-y, right? Like, I don't know. So we've done this in the past, but it's like, whose name, like if someone has a name Love, right? Something like that. Like who has a name, like, the Valentine, when you give somebody like a Valentine's Day card or the little hearts, they have like the little cheesy things on them, right? Like who has a name that you could turn it on the team that has like, I really, instead of adore you, like debore you. I don't know. We'll think about it. All right, I'll be right back. We'll take some calls here on Bama. Are we good? Are you guys okay? All right, we'll take the calls. Let me load it up. Be right back. Yeah, something like that. Whose name? Like, AK Deer, like Deer. Think about it. Who's the most romantic? All right, let me load it up. Take your calls in a minute. Man, that music. It's like having lattes. Playoffs. How hilarious is that commercial graphic? It's almost too funny, right? Dano asks, call line is open, by the way, 205-850-1994. And Dano's asking who still takes Flintstone vitamins. Man, Flintstone vitamins, remember? They were delicious. But it was weird because they didn't really taste good, but I think we liked them because, I don't know, they kind of looked like candy. But yeah, I haven't taken Flintstones vitamins in a minute, right? I mean, you do yours, but all right, we got 816 to kick it off. Hey, what's up, man? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from? Hello? I can't hear you.
All right, we got 816 to kick it off.
Yeah, I can hear like feedback. Call.
Hey, it's Tyson. Hey, what's up, man? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with?
Yeah, there's like too much feedback. Call back again. All right, call line open. 205-850-1994. Sometimes like when you call in, if you could take it off Bluetooth, because I can also hear like what you're talking about. So it's like an endless loop that we're going, right? So good calls yesterday. It was hilarious. I had a really good time with the call-in show yesterday. So I mean, we called in today. We got Richard Owens, the new tight ends coach. We got Bama basketball for last night. We have, 3 new coaches that Alabama hired going into this next season. We have Alabama A-Day, which has been announced, but we don't really know, right, like what's going to happen with it. And remember, if you called in yesterday, please don't call in again today. Like, don't be a problem for me. Like, that's the only rule that I ask you, right? It's like I don't ask you guys, like I ask you that every show. So don't call back. I'm not going to take your call if you called in yesterday. 816, we'll take it away. Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, Kyle.
Yeah, what's going on, bro? Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, this is Tyson from Huntsville.
Tyson, what's up, man?
Drove through Louisville a little bit ago in Cincinnati on my way to Michigan, Detroit.
All right, man. Yeah, I appreciate you joining us, bro. Come with it, man. Welcome to the program.
Hey, I just want to tell you, Wake Up Bama this morning, I really appreciate your transparency, and I just think that can be really helpful for a lot of people out there because, I think it's kind of actually a weakness when people put their best man on the front side all the time and always show the best side, and
yeah,
you don't never know what's going on the inside. And I just I really appreciate you for your transparency because I think everybody goes through these things. It's not just you, and it's not just me, and it's not just. I think it's everybody, and we need each other. And I love the community that you build, brother.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, in case you missed it, I mean, I was open with you guys this morning. I'm going through a little bit of depression right now. Sometimes it hits me, but I want you all to see it. Like, this is what it can look like. It can look like somebody who's like upbeat, uplifted, and I am on the show, but like, this is my life. But I want you to understand that I'm just not sitting back and like waiting on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm being active about it. I'm talking to people. I'm still in the routine. Every single day we're still in the routine, still working out, still staying connected to God, still talking to people, and you just continue to battle through. And, this too shall pass, but it is what it is. And, I have my own responsibility. I'm not just going to wait for like the stars to align because they don't. It's just like sometimes, you just get in these spots. So if you're out there and I know that a lot of people, go through different things in life, that it's okay to not be okay sometimes, but you don't just sit back and just, oh man, I'm going to get out of this. And the most important thing is don't self isolate, because when you're by yourself, then, you're not, you need to be around people that are uplifting. And I'm really good about cutting off ties with people that are not uplifting to my circle, because I only want to be around people that have positive spirits and kind of positive uplifting. So, I appreciate that. What else you got, man? Anything else?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. Thank you again for sharing, and I couldn't have said it better. I know, I could be the same guy dealing with it, depression sometimes, and a lot of times it's when I get because I'm a perfectionist, when I get so incapacitated by introspection is when I freeze up and it starts to really set in real heavy. And so what I try to do is I try to direct my attention to things outside of me, like people who are also in need and people who are hurting, and again, I focus on the Lord as well, and He leads me out of it by His grace. But I got several things to talk about. I was talking about Cody, Cliffhanger Cody yesterday, revving up Austin Mack. I just thought, man, he's hitting the nail on the head.
Yeah.
I just had some thoughts about Austin Mack. First of all, we forget his height. Remember, I love it. I'll see Adrian Clem. I love that we got New England Patriots offensive coordinator during the Super Bowl, and just look who he was protecting. He was protecting Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And look how long Tom Brady played in the league because he was protected, right? So I think there's something to say about that for sure. Not to mention, I also like the tight end play in the New England Patriots, and I actually like the running back play. And I think a lot of that New England Patriots offense is a lot like what Kalen DeBoer's offense wants to look like. I think the small running backs catching the backfield, I think that's something, I think we have a real opportunity with that. I think having a tall quarterback that can see over the offensive line, this SEC defensive lines and offensive lines, I think it's really important. And he is like the caller from yesterday said, he has NFL body. He has an NFL body
Yep.
as well. Like he can take the blows. Hopefully, we'll have an offensive line that protect him, keep him from having to take the blows. But remember, Kalen DeVore has put 3 quarterbacks into the. Assuming that Ty goes into the pros this next year, he's put 3 quarterbacks into the NFL, and Grubbs put 2. So
I like that.
You think about that. That's a good thing to think about. We got to keep and so look, Mike, the call-in show guy. He calls into call-in shows everywhere. I can't remember where he's from. Mike, you can help me with his last. Not Mike from Kentucky.
Choctaw. Turn up Mike from Choctaw.
Yeah. So he's great. He was worried about the quarterbacks because we got Keelan, we got all these good quarterbacks. He's worried about losing one. And I just want to encourage Mike today that don't be worried about that. I really feel that NI portal and the balance I really feel like that the portal is coming to a balance, and we're going to see that development is really going to be the way to go no matter what. And I think that Keelan, he's not going anywhere, even if he plays under Austin. I think he feels like at home with family. I feel he feels like he's mentored. I think he sees the future ahead, and I think he knows how hard it is to just transfer and move around. He's a mature kid. I think he's staying. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't think Austin Mack is going to start next year. But I just wanted to ask you is, does anybody want to hear a Nick Saban story?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, obviously.
Okay, so it's one of my favorites. I mean, I got a bunch of them, so if I call in the future, I'll tell you more things.
Okay.
But just remember, Nick Saban, his first year, he loses to Louisiana Monroe, and he tells this story all the time. So I'm sure the real fans have heard it, and but I like hearing him over and over again. So he just loses to Louisiana Monroe, and he's got to buy his fuel tank's on empty. He's got to go to a gas station and buy some fuel. He goes in the gas station to buy some fuel, and the gas station, and he had to pay inside because the pump wasn't working. And the attendant in there said, "Man, I like your ring." And Nick Saban said, "Yeah, that's a national championship ring." And the gas station attendant said, "Oh, we'll never win a national championship at Alabama if that coach Nick Saban is coaching here." And Nick Saban, he just like said, "Thank you, sir." He walked out to his car and pumped his gas. What do you think?
Oh, I've heard that story. I've heard that story before. It's so funny. And that's early in the career, and I'm sure, gas station, just like that lady that said if she won the Powerball, the first thing that she'd do is spend half of it to fire DeBoer. Those are those things, kind of those reactionary type things that you hear, man. But yeah, good story, man. Appreciate the call, Ty, and we'll catch you next time, brother.
Yeah, God bless you. Bye.
All right, man. Take it easy. Yeah, good call. I appreciate it, Ty. Let's see. Ryan says, "What's up, everybody? Fresh from hot yoga. Wow, I love it, bro. Drive him to a golf course. Dang, man, hot yoga and golf course. Man, this isn't Friday. This is Thursday, Ryan. Dell, what's up, man? Good to see you inside the comment box. Dell Simmons says this landscape of college football has changed, and everybody needs to realize it will be almost impossible to build and maintain a dynasty under the current culture. 1,000,000%. I mean, that's why I would never buy like a college jersey. You could wear it for one season, right? And then you got to change it, right? Or, unless it had like Velcro numbers or something like that. Maybe that's something that we could start, right? I don't know, right? Ryan's living his best life. Yeah, Ryan, feel good Ryan, man. That's how that feel good Ryan. That's it. Yeah, so good call. I appreciate the call from Ty out on the road. Call line is open. We want to chat 205-850-1994. I think what Ty talking about with Austin Mack, and as Cody Cliffhanger said yesterday, and as I said too, there's nothing wrong with celebrating Austin Mack. There's nothing wrong about being excited about Austin Mack. Like, man, is he physically developed? Yes, right? Has he been here in the system for 4 years? That's something to get excited about. I don't think we have to be so defensive and be like, just because we got a 5-star on the roster too. You got 2 guys that we feel are capable of the job, and that should elevate each of their play. It's better than having, what if we didn't have Austin Mack and you just had Keelan Russell and you had Jet the Mall? It's going to take a while for Jet to get there, right? So there's nothing wrong with having two quality quarterbacks. All right, we go for 470. It looks like we got, is this Denny? Hey, Denny, what's up,
going
man?
on, Kyle? Yeah, this is Danny the Great. I'm just calling in. A couple points I want to touch on. For Coach Clem, the new O-line coach, I think for those who have the Alabama, if you guys have that, go watch that interview because that'll open up so much, like, your mind on how great this offensive line is going to be next year. A lot of people talking about, like, oh, why are we bringing so much transfers? Is because we're having competition. The whole O-line room has been a restart. I think he's the perfect guy for the job. He has proven record NFL. Like you said, he's a Super Bowl champion, and he's proven. Another thing I want to say is for Keelan Russell, I don't think you guys realize that if he wanted to not be on the field, he would have redshirted last year. He only played 2 games last year. If he wanted to ride the bench and wait for development, he would have redshirted. I think Keelan's coming in knowing he's better than Mac. He's confident, and he knows he's going to win the starting job. Because if he wanted to, he would have redshirted this year as well. Like, let's just be real. If he really wanted to not be on the field, or if he didn't believe he would be beat out Austin Mack, he would have redshirted last year. That's just common sense. He knew coming into the offseason that he is going to beat Austin Mack because Keelan Russell has certain things that you cannot coach. He has better QB vision. He's more calm. He's more composed, and his release is just crazy. Like quick releases in a fast-paced offense, well, it's night and day. Like you need a quarterback that doesn't hesitate when he sees the lane, he throws. Another thing too is for Daniel Hill. I think we're gonna have the perfect scheme for the running backs because we're gonna run 2 running backs. I think AK Deer and Daniel Hill is gonna be perfect. Like, look at the perfect example is look at the Lions. They have Montgomery and they have Gibbs, power and speed. You know, Daniel Hill didn't come into the season thinking he was going to be running back 1. So his whole training was probably be the ground and pound 3rd and 4th, down back, and he got thrown into the starting position. So I think this offseason, he's really going to be working on his craft and get his speed up. I think, honestly, I just want to say is I think all of us should just take a step back, breathe, and just buy into our coaching staff because we're the fans. If we don't buy in, we're just shooting ourselves in the foot at that point because we're the fans. We're supposed to support our team, our coaches. Yeah, we can disagree, but at the end of the day, we got to support our team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think, we have competition battles all over the field starting in spring, and they're going to leak on over into August, right? I mean, with the quarterback, with the running backs. A lot of people have felt that Daniel Hill might need to cut a little bit of weight to be a little bit more active. We'll see what happens. If Daniel Hill, the 2 areas that he needs to improve on are just getting faster and in pass pro. And if he does that, he could probably be an every down back. And I maybe he can get there. I'm sure Robert Gillespie's aware of that. I love AK Deer. I know that you got Crowell as well in the backfield, and we can't sleep on Kevin Riley. I mean, it's a good running back room. Just got to be able to block for them, and those guys have to be patient enough and smart enough and dynamic enough to use the holes as Kenneth Walker did in the Super Bowl, because that was beautiful to watch how patient he was, waiting for things to open up and then kind of getting to that second level and making people miss. I mean, I love that. Anything else you got, Danny? All right. That was it. Danny, we love you, bro. Thanks for calling in. All right, we got Patriotic. Patriotic, what's up, man? Thanks for joining the show. I appreciate you being here, man. Come with it.
Good morning, Kyle. How are you, sir?
Doing all right, man. Yeah, feeling good. I love taking the call portion. It's always good to take the calls. Yesterday's show is hilarious. All the stuff that happened, because the beautiful thing about the call-in show is people are from all over. It's live, right? Like you have no idea what's going to happen, and the calls and just the humor of it. So yesterday I was dying laughing after the show. Patronic, I appreciate you being here, man. Welcome to the show. Take it away.
First, I'd like to give congratulations to the Tide last night for the second half performance. First half had me worried, and I'm not sure what topics we discussed this morning. I got in late, so if you'll catch me up.
Yeah, so kind
great.
of the main topics were, we opened up with Alabama basketball clearly winning, and if anyone saw that first half, I was surprised that people stayed on to watch the second half. The first half was the worst shooting performance I've ever seen Alabama basketball. I'm not kidding you. 3 from 22 from 3-point in the first half. It was insane. The second half was obviously better. So we started there, and then we kind of moved into the meat of the show, which was Alabama hiring its new offensive line coach for the Tide and how he'll kind of impact things. And then we talked about a lot about Austin Mack, to be honest, and kind of just celebrating him because I feel like sometimes people kind of like overlook, Austin Mack and just kind of those are kind of the areas. But Richard Owens is the new coach for the offensive line.
Yeah, I think I'll always feel questionable about the offensive line until season starts to see how they progress under the new coach. I hope we don't have a rotating line every play like we did last year. And the new tight ends coach, I don't know a whole lot about. I'm going to have to read up on him unless you can fill me in on his resume.
On the tight ends coach?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, the tight ends coach, he comes from Louisville, where he was their offensive line coach. And there was some other stats that I didn't necessarily share with people this morning, but Louisville's run game, I kind of looked where they were at. They were clearly better than Alabama last season. They didn't allow too many sacks. They weren't in like the top 50, but they allowed less than what Alabama did, so I found that interesting. Before that, he was at Georgia Southern, where he was with Brian Ellis, who is now the quarterbacks coach. And before that, he was at UAB. And then before that, he was at South Alabama. So one of the on the opening segment of the show, we were just discussing how, excited we were that he's from the fabric of the Southeast and is now getting an opportunity to coach here at the University of Alabama.
Yeah, maybe that'll help with recruiting.
100%.
Since he's here from the Southeast.
Yeah. I completely agree. So that's kind of where we're at. You have any other questions for me, Patronic?
No, I think I'd like to say I do think is it Woodson at linebacker? I think he'll start, and at the Bandit, I think I'd like Zulu to start just because I like his name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm with you, Patronic. I mean, 100%. I think Caleb Woodson came over here to be a starting inside backer. Now, the other backer next to him, I don't know. I think that's another area that is, open for competition, whether that's Caden Jones, QB Reese, one of the, rising sophomores or whoever else. And then I think you kind of just see where it's going from there. But, I like the defense. And Zulu is an interesting name. I talked to someone from South Carolina, and they said, look, he passes the eyeball test, still has a high ceiling, hasn't reached his top game yet. Maybe he can get there, come August, September. But I appreciate you calling in, Patronic.
Yes, sir. Do you have highlights on Zulu?
I don't show highlights on here, but there's some highlights out there of him. I mean, the thing about him, Patronic, he's played in 37 games, okay? Now, he hasn't been a starter, but that's a lot of volume to me. So he's got a lot of experience. He was just never, like, the guy at South Carolina.
Okay. All right. So he does have pretty good bit of game experience then.
Yeah, no, he's got a lot under his belt. He's just never been like the guy, but he's played in a ton of games for the Gamecocks.
All right.
All right,
Well,
man.
it's good talking to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Great.
Yep. Take it easy, Patronic. Yeah. You guys are Bulldog Mississippi is asking who is Zulu. Well, earlier this year, I guess, I mean, it's only February, but it feels like it's been a long time, right? Alabama was able to land a transfer from South Carolina and plays the bandit kind of edge position, and his name is Desmond Zulu, and he's 6'6", 250, and we're happy as hell to have him on board because at that bandit position, you lost L.T. Overton, right? You lost Keon Keeley. You lost Jordan Renaud. So you needed a guy to come in there to compete, right? And we also have Devin Tompkins, who can play the bandit position. But I think if you look to the bandit position, I still think it's wide open. And that's an area where they'll probably have rotating guys unless Desmond Zulu can be kind of that guy. And when I was talking to the guy from South Carolina, they'd like him to stay, but it wasn't like a gigantic blow for the Gamecocks because they already have their starter coming back. So that's kind of where things fall right now. All right. So, yeah, fam, I guess those are our calls today, which is cool. I appreciate you guys, kicking it with me right here on Bama Football on YouTube on Thursday. Remember, tomorrow we'll go over kind of the top players from a retention standpoint, and we'll continue to break it down as it comes in. So, yeah, this is good. I appreciate you guys rocking with me, and good win for the Bama basketball team on Wednesday night. Shoot, man, that was crazy. That first half was so ugly, but then thankfully they turned it around. And now Alabama has a new tight ends coach, and that should be fun, to watch now that we have the completed staff. Okay, so. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this morning. I appreciate you guys. Have a beautiful rest of your Thursday. More news as it happens right here on Bama Football on YouTube, and we will catch you soon on the next video. Thanks for watching. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube.